Yost. What's up, bros? Back with a new newspaper I found. Not a new newspaper, but a new one to me. The Dexter Leader. What the hell? Dexter Leader? Is the light on? No. The Dexter Leader from 1912, September 12th. And this has some importance to me because I've been researching a character who wreaked havoc in this area around 1899 or so, up until 1906. So hopefully, and I haven't looked at this, I bought this yesterday at an estate sale where I think I found the goth girl who used to work at a thrift store I used to go to, and I think she was working there, but I didn't have a chance to ask her because she was busy. But yeah, that was crazy. So I found this paper, and I've been researching a character named Arthur Ganong and his brother, who did some pretty criminal activities, we'll put it that way. But hopefully I will find something in here that matters to me. The Dexter Leader, September 12th, 1912. And I'm just slowly going to go through articles to see if there's anything that's relevant for me. Obviously, these are just advertisements. To loan pictures, State Library offers to help school districts decorate their buildings. And don't really mean nothing to me. The directors of the Washington Mutual Fire Insurance Company have ordered an assessment of $2 per 1,000. Lightning hits barn. Lightning struck the barn belonging to George J. Dell in Ann Arbor Township, south of Ann Arbor, about 4 o'clock last Thursday afternoon, and it was burned to the ground. In it were the season's crops, 30 loads of hay. The game laws. The following are the open seasons and the most important law pertaining to each kind of game: moose, elk, caribou. What else? Compensation. The man without ambition may climb no lofty heights, but he finds great comfort in his meals and spends some restful nights. That's wonderful. Tax by physical weight, novel scheme of French town authorities that met with bitter opposition from the women. What is this about? A small French town in the Pyrenees district has struck a novel way to increase revenue from taxation. The ordinary channels not bringing enough to carry out certain projected improvements. The municipal council decided to place a tax on the physical weight of the citizens, arranging the following scheme. Below 135 pounds, no tax. From 135 pounds to 200 pounds, 12S, whatever the hell S is. What is the currency of France? Francs. Annually is demanded from 200 pounds to 270 pounds, 13S, or is that shilling? For all weights above who the hell was weighing over 270 pounds back in 1912 as a woman? Won't have his calling insulted. Was there no tax on the men, just on the women? What the fuck? The physical weight, of all citizens. All right. I thought it was just the women, but it met with bitter opposition from the women. Won't have his calling insulted. There is one sure way to insult a delicatessen storekeeper and turn the honey of his disposition into gall. It can be done by remarking carelessly as you buy his meatballs or fish cakes that you only want them for the cat. Anyhow, no delicatessen man with an ounce of dignity can stand that. I lost a customer last week by refusing to sell a ring of liverwurst to a woman who was buying it for her dog. Why would you even tell them? said one man in the trade. She was a good customer, but when she decided that she guessed that ring of worst would do because she only wanted it for the dog, I said, Madam, human beings might feel honored to eat that worst. It is not for dogs. And I put it back in the case. Meatballs composed of the very best beef, veal, eggs, and cracker crumbs are likewise insalted. They will do for the cat. If women must buy these delicacies for their pets, let them, but let them refrain from insulting the storekeeper by telling him so. I agree. Although I don't think most people today would give a shit. Where divorce was futile, ancient Greece. Lightning hits the barn. All right, this page yielded nothing of local interest for me. School books. Does that say AI? Oh, all school. I was going to say, these fuckers were ahead of their time. Michigan happenings. News of a week in condensed form. Don't care about that. Domestic. United States. Spanish War. Where was the Michigan section? Michigan happenings. Grand Rapids. Don't really care about that. As a result of rumors afloat in the Polish section of the city, Father Krakowski personally investigated the mysterious sickness which broke out in the family of Martin Pazinski and Sophia. Martin Pazinski, and which later resulted in the death of Sophia, 11 years old, and then called in Coroner Hilliker. The priest went to the home and found the little girl in great pain and violent at times. He picked her up and held her in his arms. In that position, she died a few minutes later. The father and a son, Frank, 17 years old, are both deathly sick. The father lays the cause of the sickness to pork, which was eaten for breakfast. The coroner has sent the stomach of the little girl away for analysis. At the annual meeting of the Ionia County Rural Carriers Association, blah, blah, blah. Pontiac, Benjamin Clark, 19-year-old son of Johnson Clark, well-known farmer near Commerce, was arrested and lodged in jail on the charge of stabbing a horse to death. What the fuck? A horse belonging to John Durham wandered into a field on the Clark farm, and Clark sent the boy to drive the animal back to the Durham pasture. While doing so, the boy, it is alleged, jabbed a knife into the horse's throat and sighed. Later, the horse fell dead in the field. Some time ago, young Clark got into trouble for killing 12 turkeys belonging to Wallace Daly by spearing them with a stick, having a sharp nail in the end. Yeah, he's probably his future serial killer. What else do we got? Jackson. The only convicts who worked at the state prison on Saturday were the trustees, employed in the engine room and on the lawns fronting the big institution. The rest of the inmates were locked in their cells. Warden Nathan F. Simpson began an investigation of the rioting, which is said to have been started by convicts who complained about the food. Muskegon, Ann Arbor. Open-air schools are becoming popular in Michigan. The first open-air school in this state was without shelter of any kind and was conducted under the apple trees at the Grand Rapids Sanatorium. The second open-air school and the first one was under shelter. The second open-air school and the first one, which was under shelter, was opened for anemic children in Grand Rapids in the summer of 1911 under the direction of the Board of Education. At the beginning of 1912, an open-air school for consumptives was opened in one of the shacks of the sanatoriums at Grand Rapids. H.O. Willis died. Notes by Telegraph. Let's see. Best books for children. Eugene Field asked for the best 10 books for young people under 16 years of age. Is said to have given this list: Pilgrim's Progress, Robinson Crusoe, not Crusoe, Anderson's Fairy Tales, Grimm's Fairy Tales, Scottish Chiefs, Black Beauty, The Arabian Nights, Swiss family Robinson, Little Lord Fauntleroy, Tom Brown's School Days for Boys, or for girls, Little Women. What's up, Little Women? Let us have a heart-to-heart talk. Be you producer, consumer, dairyman, farmer, or manufacturer, are you giving thought to economic conditions as they are today in America? No. A food convert. The pernicious habits some persons still have of relying on nauseous drugs? No, not interested. Wheat will cure my back. There was a splash, a gurgling yell, and another splash beside the last. The diamond caper, a base romance. Waff. Waffo, yo, come fussing round this Gemmons. Beth, the hell's Beheth? Does that mean behest? All right, so far I haven't found anything. Dexter Leader, September 12th, 1912. Personal items. This is where I'd find something. If I find, what's her name, Mrs. Reed in here, the school teacher, I'm going to be ecstatic. Miss Louise Taylor and Miss Mildred Shirk of Ann Arbor spent Sunday with friends here. Miss Kate Siebold of Ann Arbor was the guest. Miss Vina Johnson of Ann Arbor, Miss Emmy Brown of Jackson visited her sisters. Imagine if you fucking everywhere you went was just in the paper. It's just kind of weird. Homer H. Peters' daughter, Kessler, blah, blah, blah. Mr. and Mrs. Edward Garotti and sons Lawrence and Joe, who have been visiting Mrs. Joseph Garotti of Webster for some time, have returned to their home in Evans City, Pennsylvania. Mrs. Eliza Waldron and daughter, Miss Rose, who have been spending the summer with their former's mother and sister, Mrs. Adela Kenny and Miss Ida Kenny of Webster, left Friday for their home in Hastings, Nebraska. Brooms, 50 cents, value at 33 cents. Herbert Miles, little son of Mr. and Mrs. A.D. Miles, who has been critically ill of infantile paralysis, is slowly improving. That's good news. J.H. Van Fleet of Detroit visited Dexter. George Arnold, Mrs. Caldwell. Mrs. S.H. Lowe, who has been spending some time with her sister, Mrs. Byron Green, leaves today for her home in Rochester, New York. Mrs. Green accompanied her. Norman Yost and his aunt, Miss May Stoll, have removed to Ann Arbor, where Norman has entered the senior class of the high school. Mrs. Yost will join them as soon as she closes her business interests here. Mrs. Maud Pierce, who left Dexter some 5 months ago to visit her sister, J.E. Warden of Fallon, Nevada, was married on the 22nd of July to Mr. Joseph Burgone, also of that city. Irene Butler of Detroit. She may be part of the Ganong family. Gadsby. Mrs. Geo Crampton of Tacoma, Washington, don't care. Mr. and Mrs. Richard Northard of Ypsilanti were guests at the home of his brother, George Harris. Mr. and Mrs. Edwin Bott and daughter of Stockbridge visited at the home of their son, Dr. T. Bott, Sunday. Master Wayne Lemons of Kalamazoo. The National Biscuit Company will give a demonstration of their goods at our store Saturday, September 14th. You are cordially invited. According to science, are the things associated with our early home life, such as Buckler's Arnica. Shut up. It's an advertisement. What's this say? Save the stocking legs. There is nothing better for dusting and wiping polished something or other. Polished wood. Dampen them in boiled oil, and they will give the wood a splendid polish. All right. Asparagus and watercress. Webster. I.G. Bacchus. Mrs. Stimpson. Mabel Estabrook. I wonder if that's what's his name's Joseph Estabrook's daughter. Reuben Pratt has taken up his work again at Ann Arbor High School. Ida Bomber. The Young People's Society will meet Sunday evening with Mrs. Mabel Estabrook. Ed Mast has completed his silo and will soon begin filling it. This is Hilda Fiegel. The party was arranged by her sister, Miss Minnie, and was a complete success. Oh, complete surprise. The day was also the birthday of one of the guests, Miss Mary Pratt. Members of the families of Pittsfield and Scio Granges, to the number of 150, chartered 2 special cars and spent the day. Detroit and Belle Isle. A.S. Lyon, Mr. and Mrs. Tubbs, that ain't gonna help me. John Pratt spent Sunday at Jackson with his brother Alva. There he is. Al Pratt is adding to the number of his buildings. Mr. and Mrs. Harry Jordan entertained on the following blah, blah, blah. It's a brand new pair of pants. New pair free from Wool to Wearer Pants. The sheep with a pedigree. We have received a shipment of $1.75 men's and $1.50 boys outing shoes. For sale, several good houses, desirably located in Dexter. Every year, in many parts of the country, thousands are driven from their homes by coughs and lung diseases. Webster Grange, song, Women's Mission, 109, roll call. The hell is Webster Grange? They said Sile Grange, too. All right, local interests. We're getting to this. Miss Elsie Cranston is having her residence newly painted. James Harris is having his residence raised and placed on a new foundation. Hugh Quinn is making changes and improvements on the interior of the residence he owns on Ann Arbor Street. And when completed, will move his family into it. Mr. Kempf died. The Soulier Farm has again changed ownership. John Hart of Detroit. Frank Potts of Malcolm. Dispatch from the Ann Arbor says Burt Chandler of Hudson now appears to be the Democratic nominee for the office of congressman. There it is, brooms again. 50 cents. I mean, did you really have to sell brooms back then? You either needed one or you didn't. The apple crop bids fair to be a large one this year. And of course, the orchards that were sprayed are the ones that will yield the big returns. That's what my brother told me. A number of people from the village and vicinity attended Sports Day at Chelsea Friday. If your business doesn't go, and the sales are mighty low, and things begin to look a trifle bad. The progressives at Ann Arbor have organized a club of over 70 members that are opening the campaign in advance of either of the old parties. They have already had one speaker of national importance, Governor Johnson, and are planning another meeting. 5th annual meeting of the Michigan State Good Roads Association. Well, you should fucking meet still, because our roads still suck 113 years later. According to the monthly crop report issued by the Secretary of State, the special train bearing Governor Johnson, don't care, Dexter mills are grinding feed every day. born to Mr. and Mrs. C.P. Nill of Jackson Tuesday. The machine, which is digging the trenches for the gas pipeline, reached Chelsea last week. It was predicted that our hot weather would come in September this year, and from the way the month started in, it really looks like it. K.H. Wheeler. School days are here. Stand the knocks. They're bound to get. We've got just the kind, and a variety too. And a great variety too, and we don't forget that the boys like styles in his clothes also. Electric Bitters. Oh, Gladys Grace, last of four Graces. I ain't seen a goddamn thing so far. Now we're back to politics. It's not what I'm looking for. Meaning of at half-mast. At first universal symbol was taken of submission and respect for enemy. Perhaps you have noticed that whenever a prominent person dies, especially if he is connected with the government, the flags on public buildings are hoisted only part of the way up. Remarks the Toronto Mail and Express. This is called half-mast. Did you ever stop to think what connection there could be between a flag that was not properly hoisted and the death of a great man? No. Cardinal is genial and democratic. Don't care. Eruption like pimples. My child's scalp trouble became so bad that I was ashamed to have anyone see him. And someone cut out some page. James R. Mann, the great objector. Back to the Graces. No. London. Don't care. Well, I only paid $1 for this paper, so. Uses for the paintbrush. Wanted. I buy and deal in all kinds of wild animals and birds, such as foxes, owls, hawks, etc. For rent, the J.T. Honey residence on Baker Street. Heated with furnace, lighted by electric lights. Inquire of Dr. R.B. Is that Hanev? Yes. Old papers. Old papers for sale at Leader Office. 5 cents for a large bundle. Fuck, I could have got 20 of these for $1 in 1912. Damn, I would have bought them all too. Small residence in Dexter. Inquire of G.H. Beach. For sale, horse 9 years old. Weight about 900 pounds. Good driver, gentle and right in every way. I wonder how long horses live. For rent, I have 20 junk jack screws, which I will rent in any number to parties desiring their use. For service, thoroughbred, heavy bone, Poland, China, stock hog. Also for sale, 2 young sows with pigs by side. Wanted, old red wheat at the Dexter Mills. Girls wanted for general housework. Apply at the employment department of the YMCA. Milk wrote, wanted a half-round plant stand, 4 shelves preferred. All parties having accounts on my books are requested to settle at once. Chaz Wheeler. For sale cheap, the Mrs. G. George H. Permont residence adjoining that of Mr. Ed Cranston on C Street. New platform spring wagon. How to prepare asparagus. We want wheat, beans, rye. All right, I just found nothing in that paper. That was exciting. The societies. Look at that. The little stain is a heart almost. How cute. All right, that's all.